But we're going to move on because this week starts, of course, dun dun dun, NFL playoffs. And we're all excited, aren't we? 14 teams enter, but only one will win. Starting this weekend, obviously, the playoff picture is very clear to all of us. We've got, of course, the 49ers and Ravens are our number one seed, so they get those first round buys, which is always nice. So we're going to go ahead and get into these matchups a little bit. And we'll start right here. We'll start with the first one just because it's fun and we get to make fun of the Cowboys. So here we go. First one. Sorry, yes. Cowboys and Packers. Now, as we all know, the Bears had a chance to keep the Packers out of the playoffs, but we couldn't do it. So the Packers get in, get that 7 seed, and they go to Dallas. Now, I don't want to hate on Dallas. I'll put it that way. I don't want to, but I got to think history, if they really want to get the monkey off their back, and they've been great at home this year. Like their road record was bad, but their home record was great. And they get a home game here with Green Bay. But Handy, I'll start with you, man. What do you see from this matchup? Does Dallas do what Dallas usually does? Can Green Bay pull the upset here in Dallas? What do you think?
Absolutely. Because I mean, until proven otherwise, it's always going to be the number one factor is going to be home or away. It is Dallas in the playoffs. So I absolutely, because we've seen it happen before the Dak Prescott era with Tony Romo. It's just greatest team in the league every season, bounced in the first round of the playoffs. I think Green Bay has the ability to do just that. And they're coming away from the frozen tundra to play in Jerry World in the Dome. I mean, it's a hostile environment as a visiting team, but I think they can make that. I think they can make it happen.
Okay. And how many times has Green Bay bounced the Cowboys out of the playoffs?
Well, see, I don't have that stat in front of me, but yeah,
quite a few times.
What is it? I know it. I don't have
with Aaron Rodgers.
That's the deciding factor. Can Jordan Love do what Aaron Rodgers has done in the past? Right. And I think that's where, even though I'd love to see Green Bay win, I think Dallas is going to be able to pull this one out. So,
I honestly, at the end of the day, the only thing, there's two Achilles heels for Dallas. One is being on the road, like Anthony said, being at home. They're solid, but at the same time, you have to be able to run the ball. Unfortunately, injuries have hurt Dillon and
Jones
for most of the season, but they're each legitimate running backs. If they can get that running game going and work that play action off of that, maybe they can get something done. But right now, Dallas they're hot right now. So
they are. I mean, that's the thing. They really are. They're playing extremely well. The offense is really rolling. So, I mean, I would pick Dallas in this one as well. But again, Dallas does Dallas things. So we're gonna have to wait and see if they can get over the hump. Doesn't have to be. And he's and he's not Aaron Rodgers. And again, that's a whole argument we could have another time. But I just think like the way the kid has played, though, he's shown flashes and he's shown some brilliance. So I mean, if he gets a couple of guys open and for Green Bay for sure. Like he's definitely their quarterback. Yeah, there's no question about that. But I mean, again, go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
All right. I was just gonna say the other really dangerous thing for Dallas here, looking at Green Bay, is while sometimes it's a disadvantage to have a really young team, which Green Bay is one of the youngest teams in the entire league.
I think
this is the team this is the team that's going in essentially with nothing to lose. You're playing with house money. You're a young team. You got the 7th seed. You're in the playoffs, and it's a team in Green Bay that's balling out lately. I think this game is going to be really close, a lot closer than people expect. And I do think Dallas takes it, but it wouldn't shock me the least bit for Green Bay to walk out of this with the win.
Yeah, no, and I don't think Jordan Love needs to be Aaron Rodgers. I want to make that clear. I just think he's young. This is his first playoff situation. He's not a young quarterback, but his first playoff situation. And so that's the mitigating factor for me in my head. So this one's going to be interesting because for everything that everyone said, I just think Dallas will probably pull it out in the end. So we'll see. I'd like to be shocked.
Yep.
I'd appreciate being shocked because I'm not a
Sure.
huge Dallas fan.
See, me personally, I want Dallas to win, and it's not because it's Green Bay playing them. I want us to win and have another shot at Dallas. That's what I want.
Right.
Well,
Yes.
there you go.
And as a matter of fact, funny, that's a great segue there, Mr. Loosemore, because the next game on the docket here, right. Let's just get into this quarterback versus quarterback who were traded for each other, and now they get to face each other in the 3-6 game. Rams-Lions. Alex, we'll start with you. You're the Lions fan. What are we looking for here? Does Detroit finally live up to what they should have been this year? And then they have. I'm not saying they're bad at all. You guys have won the division. You guys have played very well. No, but I was going to say, yeah, the hype. Everybody's got the hype. But they are the 3 seed here. So, I mean, they are the favorite, obviously. What do the Lions need to do to win here?
They need to make a couple stops defensively because I expect this game. Neither defense is great by any means in the run or the pass, and both offenses are electric. So I expect this game to be very high scoring. I don't know what the line is, but if you were betting, I'd take the over.
Yeah, probably.
And
right.
It's 2 quarterbacks with a lot to prove going against their former teams too, and Stafford coming back to Detroit for the first time. So I expect fireworks, and it's going to be whichever defense can make that 1 or 2 stops is going to win this game.
Yeah, it could be. This definitely could be a last possession wins type football game this weekend for sure. And I definitely will be watching this game with great interest, just like you said, for all of what we anticipate to be an offensive just juggernaut. Both teams throw the ball. Both, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to be insane, I think. This could be one of those, 38-35 scores to finish or something like that, because I think both offenses are capable of that. So
overtime
I definitely look for. You think so? Overtime, calling overtime there, Handy?
Get to see those new overtime rules finally.
Oh yeah,
right there you go. Yeah, playoff overtime.
And honestly,
rules.
I think it's the team that's going to be able to run the ball effectively. I mean, we got Montgomery and we got Gibbs over Detroit, and then obviously Karen Williams. The team that's able to run the ball effectively, I think, that's going to be the deciding factor, in my opinion. That holding the clock, kind of. If you get a team that can do like Michigan did Monday night, where they got out early, Edwards busted out a couple. I got to shout you out, my guy. I'm sorry, we didn't do but yeah, if one of these teams, preferably the Lions, obviously, but the Rams too, if they can get that run game going, that's huge. And also, I want to say this real quick because Nathan, you're in the comments. Nathan and I, when this trade happened, Nathan tried his hardest to go back and forth with me about the fact who won this trade. And in my opinion, once Stafford won the Super Bowl, I thought, well, trade is over. However, the Lions are doing great, and overall, the Lions have gotten better with the trade. So I will say this will be a culmination, Nathan, of what we said. Let's see who wins. Let's end it right here. All right.
Yeah, right. So whoever wins, we're saying they won the trade. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's the only way it's going to end. Because
is it the trade or is it the coach?
There you go, Tina. Good question.
Well, I think
is it the trade or...
I think if you're looking at it on the Detroit side, I think Stafford kept us from being able to actually rebuild for so long, just because that's how good he is. He continuously got us to 7-9, 7-9, 8-8, where we were always sitting in that 11 to 15 pick range, where we finally got rid of him, and then it's the second overall pick. And we can actually get the picks where talent-wise where we are. Yeah. So I think that was a big part of it. But then obviously getting the coach and the coaching staff around Dan Campbell is also a massive part of it.
Sure. No, and Campbell's done great. Obviously, he's probably a candidate for Coach of the Year, but that's another discussion for another time. Let us move on then to the last game in the old NFC this weekend. And, of course, that is the 4-5 matchup of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and I don't know what happened in the last 6 weeks to the Philadelphia Eagles, but they find themselves in the 5 seed here getting a road game, which I didn't think would happen about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but here we are. Yeah. The Eagles have to go to Tampa. Handy, we'll start with you. What do you think of this one? Does Jalen Hurts and the boys get, whatever there's going on there, do they overcome it and pull out this victory on the road, or does Tampa pull a shocker here and beat up on the Eagles? What do you think?
There's a big part of me that thinks that the Eagles are. It took almost till the end of the season, but the Eagles are finally starting to feel Super Bowl hangover.
Okay.
Not that they won. We know how it ended, but I mean, they looked phenomenal leading all the way up through the season, up into the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. And they started out this season 10-1, and I think they only won one game after that. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
They're living in 6.
Yeah.
They're 1-5 in the last.
They won one game. You start out as the best team in the league after week 11. You're hands down best team in the league, and wind up a 5 seed in the conference. I think they're suffering from Super Bowl hangovers. What it is, it just took a while to catch up to them. And other factors going on, Kelsey recording the album and Mama Kelsey in the stands and his brother dating Taylor Swift. You're gonna
go that route, are you? Distractions in Philadelphia, is that what you're saying?
And then who, by the way, his brother's girlfriend is going to kill a certain comedian from the Philippines after what he said about her on the Golden Globes on Monday, but that's a different story. Honestly, I do. I think they're suffering from Super Bowl hangover is what it is. And they're going to have to find a way to, oh my God, I couldn't have planned this if I wanted to shake it off, as it were.
There it is. There it is.
I did not plan that because all of my speeches are stream of consciousness. If they don't figure out a way to,
shake it off.
Yeah, to shake it off, they're going to find themselves in a blank space.
Wow.
So,
there it is.
It's a toofer. It's a toofer. I got you.
There we go. It's the gift that keeps on giving, right? Just keep it going.
Yeah. Just like Nick Cannon. But Tampa Bay. Thank you, folks. I'll be here all night. Try the scallop.
Yeah, tip your waitress for real.
Tampa Bay. I don't know what it is about Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield finds a way to dig himself out of whatever position he's in at the end of the season. I mean, he did well enough in Carolina. Well enough, not very good, but well enough to get another contract. And now he's in Tampa Bay winning winning a division title. I don't know. I think he's got a little gas left in the tank. There's no telling. I think it's kind of been motivating to the rest of the players that are there. Now, I will say this about Baker Mayfield. It's mighty funny how somebody it's funny when you fall on adversity, how somebody get humbled. Did you guys catch his speech? Not the speech, but you catch what he said in his post-game interview on Sunday?
No.
We're talking about the same kid that came in and ran the stake down in the middle of the Oklahoma, State field.
In the horseshoe, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In the horseshoe and flipping off crowds and stuff like that. And when he got interviewed on Sunday, he said, God's got a plan for me. What? It's all in God's plan. When did you care about God's plan when you were flipping off 90,000 screaming fans in an opposing stadium? I'm just saying. But humility is a wonderful thing, ain't it? They just said, sit down somewhere, son. Okay, yes, sir. I got to go to Tampa. All right. I got to play over there. How many times I supposed to mention your name? Do I have to mention it all 16 or just the one time? Okay. Anyway, I said all that to say that Baker, he definitely, just listening to him talk and watching him play, he definitely seems more focused than the Baker that came into Cleveland, gave him a little spark, and then turned into, look at me, I'm Baker Mayfield. So we shall see. I mean, sometimes it's something to be said about how somebody that's willing to work, that wants to work for what they've got, does when they're up against an opponent. I mean, because realistically speaking, Philly should beat Tampa Bay, but we don't know. For me, right now, that game is a push. It could go either way. With Philly looking like it's looking, it's a push.
No, and I think that's the biggest question, and I would just throw it out to all of you. Can Tampa Bay pull this game out? Like, is it
absolutely?
Does it rely on Baker? But I mean, does it fall mostly on Baker to play well for them to win this game? Because we all know they can live and die with him. So is it really on Baker Mayfield to have a phenomenal game this weekend for Tampa Bay to pull this victory? Alex, go ahead.
I don't think it relies as much on Baker as it does that offensive line, because I think the major thing that you've seen with Philly, I think teams have started to figure out attacking their defense, that if you limit that defensive line pressure, that secondary can get picked apart. They are not very good back there this year. And if you can stop Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter and Brandon Graham and all those guys, the 5-6 deep they are defensive line, then you can attack the secondary. And with the weapons Tampa has outside, I think if they can give Baker enough time to make those decisions, they can easily take this game from Philly.
No,
Here's
sounds
the thing.
good.
Let's also be very, very honest about this. If they lose, it's going to get blamed on Baker. No questions asked.
Yep.
So
it's the guy walking out the door. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue with Handy's little thing and say, never in my wildest dreams did I think Baker would come up with the style he came up with this season. Considering where he's been, what he's done, gotten jumped around everywhere from team to team to team. I've always liked Baker. Yeah, he was a hothead. Yeah, he was a beep when he was at the Browns, but the kid has talent.
Yep.
4,000 yards this year.
Number one pick for a reason.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's built like a tight end, not a quarterback. So let's see what he can do with that. So there we go. That's just my thought. Is I agree with you, Alex. I think it's the offensive line, and if they can take advantage of the problems in the Philly defense, but Baker, it's going to all go on him because it's the quarterback in this situation because they snuck into the playoffs, how that division was, all of that. Yeah. It's going to be the storyline is he lost the game.
And but even more than that, the storyline is going to be if I mean, and let's be honest, this game really it's Philly. We all know that. Philly is supposed to win this thing. This isn't supposed to be a game. They should not be the 5th seed in the playoffs right now.
Correct.
The way that they've played, this is what they deserve. They deserve to be in this spot. So if Philly shows up to be the team that won the NFC last year, that's that's done great, that has all of Georgia's national championship defense on, as their defense. Then Philly should easily walk away with this thing. But at the end of the day, Tampa is the one that's been playing hot right now. Philly has been playing terrible, 1-5, as opposed to, I think Tampa's 5-1 in the last 6, aren't they?
Something like that. Yeah, they've gotten hot lately.
Something to that effect. But as I pointed out earlier, go ahead, Sean. Finish. I'm sorry.
I was saying the same. I mean, it's right in front of them. Philly is supposed to win this thing because of who Philly is and all the talent they have. But at the end of the day, I mean, they just can't get it together.
Given Sunday.
Exactly. Especially in the playoffs.
Here's my thing about it is, and I've been saying this all year to myself a lot, was Philly the best team, or were they able to take advantage of the fact that the 49ers were down to their 4th string quarterback in the NFC game?
Sure.
So again, and everybody's like, but they almost beat the Chiefs. Well, are the Chiefs as good as they were?
This year,
not this year. No,
last year they were.
But last year I think they were. Yeah, not this year.
But you're a Broncos fan. You're in division. It's like giving me the
We expect that from you, Tina. We love it. We love your level of pettiness when it comes to the AFC West. It's great.
I think Patrick
I'm petty. I fully admit my pettiness. I have no problem with that.
Go ahead, Andy.
I'm going to change instead of being the potty mouth, I'll start calling myself the petty mouth.
Petty mouth.
There you go. I love it. The petty mouth. That's a new nickname. Here we go.
But I still stand by with what I said about the Eagles. Is I think they got a bit of a skate in to the Super Bowl. So that's the thing, and people have exposed them. I mean, all the teams have been exposed this year in some form or fashion. So
now remember, they've lost both their offensive and defensive coordinators this year too. So new play callers on both sides of the ball. That's a big deal too.
That's huge. That is very, very big. Yes.
Kyle Yacy chiming in saying that he's really interested in the Houston Texans and Cleveland Browns game, which we'll get to in a minute. That is going to be a great game, and he says they're going to win it all. You heard it here first, so we'll keep Kyle to that one. Kyle, that's a great. That's a hot take, my friend, but I hear you. Go for
just one more thing with the Bucs Eagles here.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're saying that Philly shouldn't be the 5 seed, but if you took division winning out of the higher seeds and just went the actual seeds, they're actually only the 4 seed. Based on tiebreakers, everything, they're actually only the 4 seed, so they don't change that drastically. They'd be playing at home against the Rams instead of going to Tampa.
Right. So yeah, I get you there. But yeah, it's a game I'll definitely. It's the Monday night game, so I know everybody will be watching because they put it in prime time. So that's your Monday night or Monday night game there, folks. So let us move over then to the AFC because some interesting
AFC.
matchups here. Starting with your okay, so here's my thing, and I'm just going to say this right up front, and let's just get whatever we got to get out here. Do the Steelers have a chance in this game? Let's just do they? Is this just one of those matchups where they're getting fed to the Bills and it's going to be like 42-3 or something? Like, are we going to see that, or does Pittsburgh give them a game?
You and I have we've talked about this the last 2 or 3 years. Bills are just Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I know
they are,
but
they're playing great as of late. Yes, exactly.
Right. But it depends on which team shows up. Now, I think the bigger factor is the fact that the Steelers potentially lost T.J. Watt.
He is. He's out.
Oh, he's out.
He's out. Oh,
that's why I'm saying they don't get a shot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
No shots.
I thought he was doubtful. So, yeah, if he's
out.
It was.
He's out.
Tomlin confirmed today he's out.
Oh, well, there he is.
There it is.
No, the answer is no.
The answer is. So this would totally be a shock that if the Steelers found a way to win this, or do we blame the Bills for just collapsing again? What? Because that's my thing. What do Steelers have here that they could run with? Go ahead, Alex. What could they run with?
I think the whole whether what's the storyline going to be if they lose? It depends on how they lose. Right. Is it? I can't believe I'm saying this. Is Mason Rudolph in a shootout with Josh Allen? Shoot out very good defenses. Is it Najee Harris and Jalen Warren are controlling the clock with that run game? There are different ways that Pittsburgh can absolutely win this. Yeah. It's just not very likely. Najee's been playing pretty good as of late.
Not according to my fantasy football team.
I was going to say last month or so. So
every time I play him, he doesn't. Every time I don't play him, he scores 25 points. That's
there you
the
go.
problem with Najee.
That's also Gabe Davis, so you got one on each side.
I know.
For Najee Harris, though, if you look at the last month, has been one of the best running backs in football, actually. So, and Jalen Warren's been just as good. So they have the pieces to keep this game close, but I don't think it's going to happen. Kyle, are you guys trading for Mike Tomlin? Because they ain't letting him walk.
Right.
They are not.
Right. I was just saying, they're not just going to let him go. Are they guys got 17 straight winning seasons? I wouldn't let him go. But Kyle,
he's never had a losing season. Good luck trading for him.
Kyle, did you have something spicy for dinner, bro? Because all your takes are hot today.
Season, it is definitely the Falcons. I'm just saying.
Kyle definitely ate spicy food because all of his hot takes are coming out now. So I think probably why.
Some kind of mushroom.
So something. He's smoking again. So no, I'm just kidding, Kyle. We love you. But so again, this should be a Bills victory. But hey, anything can happen any given Sunday. We all know the speech. Here we go. So let's move on to our next. What were we going to say? Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, not only that, yes, the Bills have been a little more consistent in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But there is also the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde factor of one Mr. Massive piece of magic, Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Will the real Josh Allen please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up.
Yep.
So if Josh Allen comes out and does that thing where, he's zipping the ball all over the field for the first two series, and then after that first pick, it's going to be, I think the Steelers are going to smell blood in the water. So who knows?
No, it'll be interesting. I mean, again, I don't foresee that being a Steelers victory, but hey, again, I've been wrong before. So again, let's get to the next one. Of course, we have the 3-6 matchup of the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Now, again, Miami falls to the 6, couldn't beat Buffalo on Sunday. The Chiefs, still managed to win the AFC West. So they get the 3 seed, but we all know, we've all seen it the last 5-6 weeks. KC has struggled mightily. Do the Dolphins pull one out here, given that they haven't played as great either? I mean, is this the battle of Tua and Patrick? Does somebody else step up in this game somehow and take it over? Like, what do we think of this one, guys? Dolphins, Chiefs. Let me have it. Bring it home.
Dolphins beat
Anyone?
the Chiefs in the
Anyone?
soccer.
Bueller?
Miami.
I'm going Chiefs actually.
Okay.
The
Alex
Dolphins
is
defense
going.
is the
There we go.
walking wounded. Miami defense is the walking wounded
Yeah.
right now. They're down 3 edge rushers. I believe Xavier Howard's out. Linebackers are in and out of the lineup. And has anyone seen what the weather's supposed to be like in Kansas City on Saturday?
I heard like
It's
like
like
snow
5
and
degrees.
Yeah.
Negative 5.
Hey, it doesn't matter if
Delay.
Miami. Listen, it doesn't matter if Miami's defense is the walking wounded. They still got Kadarius Kansas Stone Tony on their roster over there in Kansas City.
I'm thinking there's going to be the majority of the game's going to be running the ball because it's going to be so cold. It's going to be hard to have a passing game.
Yep.
So, and to me, the Chiefs, even though that offensive line's been subpar, it's been a good running offensive line.
Yep.
Against that beat up Miami defense, I am going to lean Kansas City in this.
Yeah.
Plus, also, there's a possible Tyreek Hill might not be playing.
Yep.
Really?
He was
I think
questionable today. Yeah.
Ooh.
So
see, that would be a big blow to the Dolphins if that happens. Yeah, that'd be huge.
Yeah, he's questionable. He had a limited practice today, so we'll see what happens the rest of the week.
Keep an eye on that for
There's
sure.
no Tyreek. There's I hate saying.
Yeah.
That said all you need to say.
Yeah, you're right.
We know your boy Kermit is probably going to be victorious on Sunday. I mean,
he'll be riveting all over the field again.
Yeah,
and
I'm picking Kansas City in this game also. But go ahead,
yeah. If Tyreek is out with everything else that Alex has mentioned and all of that, and also when I saw that my guy that I love, Chubb, was out for the rest of the year again,
Chubb, yep.
That's your pass rush. That's part of your pass rush.
Your edge rushers you're relying on, you have 2.
Yeah.
And
you need
mid-30s Melvin Ingram and Emmanuel Ogba. Those are your you have 2 edge rushers.
Yeah.
Well, if I was Ingram, I would line up against what's his name, who gets all the false start penalties, number 70. What is it on the Chiefs?
I'm gonna say, do you go for Jawan Taylor, who gets all the false start penalties, or
Jawan Taylor
who gets all the holding penalties? Because
who held the record when he was at Denver? So let's.
That's what I said.
You know what? Miami pulls this one out. I will root for them for the Super Bowl.
There we go. Yeah. Anybody who beats Kansas City, Tina's in favor of. So there we go. Anytime.
I love Miami to win, but I don't think.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
With all those injuries, that doesn't look favorable.
Yeah, I don't see it. But hey, that's all right because for me, this is the game I'm really most interested in. Is our next matchup, of course. This 4-5 matchup with the upstart Texans. DeMeco, now see, to me, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, but come on. How is DeMeco Ryans not the front runner for Coach of the Year? With what he's able to pull off here.
The team he's playing against has started 5 quarterbacks. And
I get it. I get it. I'm not. Yeah, I hear you, Alex. Again,
that'll be a discussion. Mr. Luke Moore.
That'll be a discussion for another show. But I'm just saying, you have to imagine.
Emotional pick.
Well, yeah, Stefanski. Well, yeah, because I mean, who doesn't like Flacco coming out of nowhere from his couch, basically, to lead this team to the playoffs? Like, who doesn't like that story? Well, you see, there you go.
Man was living in his gated community playing pickleball with the senior citizens.
Well, apparently he only does this for Cleveland franchises because isn't that where the Ravens came from? So, he won the Super Bowl with them. Now he could win one with the Browns. So he only apparently likes Cleveland-related teams, I guess, Mr. Flacco. But, yeah, here we go. We got a 4-5 matchup. Obviously, the Texans, we know what they've done to get their way here. They've stretched and clawed all season and won some really big games. So now they're here with their rookie quarterback. Ken, I mean, again, Flacco, we know his playoff experience. He's a Super Bowl champ. We know what the Browns have. I mean, their defense is great. We know what they have on offense. Do the Texans have a shot here, guys? Can they pull the upset here on Sunday? Or Saturday. This is the first game on Saturday. Sorry. First game we get. So 3:15.
I think it's entirely possible. I mean, for me, the storyline is, and you already spoke on it. It was for the storyline for me as soon as I saw the seedings was recently unretired Joe Flacco versus quite possibly the hottest young rookie quarterback in the league this season. And that's gonna, I mean, that alone is going to be enough to get me to definitely check that one out. And do I think they can do it? I 100% think they can do it. The only question is, they're pretty. I don't really study a lot of the players' ages unless I know I was watching them like play ball right after I met my wife 14 years ago. So Texans are a pretty young team, right?
Yes,
Yes.
very young.
Second youngest, I think. Yeah.
So that might play a factor because you're talking about a bunch of young guys who have not had this opportunity in the spotlight. So do they step up to the plate? I know, wrong sport, but do they step up to the plate when they get there, or do they get a little blinded by the lights when they get there? But other than that, I think this is going to be I'm looking forward to this one being a really good game.
I can't wait. The Deshaun Watson game.
Yeah.
If only Deshaun Watson was actually making an appearance.
Well, right, but that's the funny part. Both teams that are involved in the trade, the Texans who are finally coming up from out of the shadows of the Deshaun Watson situation.
Yeah,
the Browns, who, like you said, have had to have 5 quarterbacks because Deshaun was out. I mean, this is – I mean, they're coming together for this whole thing. It's just crazy that situation when you see it, that Flacco could lead one team and then C.J. Stroud could lead another, and both of them at 7 degrees of separation between all because they're all connected.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the even funnier thing to ponder is the fact that if their starting quarterback had never gotten hurt, the Browns probably wouldn't be in this scenario.
Yeah.
That's very true too, right? Because Deshaun wasn't exactly lighting it up while he was in there, was he?
No. Their defense was keeping them in the games. But someone mentioned the Houston Browns game on Christmas Eve. Let's remember, C.J. Stroud did not play that game.
Amongst a bunch of other players. There was a laundry list of Texans starters that did not play that game.
I mean, either one wins, it's a Cinderella story as far as it's concerned. Because the Browns, it's because, look, we lost our quarterback and we kept going and we're all this. Houston wins, it's a young team that brings it up. But Cleveland's defense has not been as stout as it was in the first part of the year. So I think this is because of the laundry list, because C.J. Stroud wasn't in that game. I think CJ is going to give the Browns defense a bit of a run for their money.
So he gonna come stand right on the 50-yard line. He gonna spray paint business on it. Go stand on it. Take a picture for the
that kid has gumption, and it's just I like it.
And this was I hated saying this about an Ohio State guy. But I said this was far and away the number 1 quarterback in this draft. And he's shown that. Yeah. He has killed it game in and game out. Yep. And, I mean, they allowed Davis Mills to get 2 touchdowns and within 2 touchdowns of beating them on Christmas Eve. C.J. Stroud is a whole nother beast. Him and Nico Collins, that connection they have is unreal this year. And I think it's pretty safe to say Amari Cooper's not going to end up with 265 yards receiving again.
Probably not, but yeah.
I'm taking the Texans in this one.
But Flacco is at quarterback, so
Joey Flacco.
Yeah,
Flacco magic.
D'Amico Ryans, he's gonna shut down Amari Cooper at all costs. Make Flacco with somebody else.
So that's what it is. You're going to get double teams all day or triple teams. They're going to do whatever. They're going to wrap them around. They're going to do whatever they can to make sure that Amari Cooper does not hurt them.
Yeah,
you just know that's coming. But, I find it I just find it interesting, this whole matchup. I love it. But I find it interesting, too, that, like, Singletary became the featured back there in Houston, because
over Dameon Pierce,
Yeah, like Dameon Pierce, everybody was so high on him after last year. And yet the guy who came, he was at Buffalo last year, wasn't Singletary?
Buffalo, yeah.
He was one of the committee by running back that Buffalo had. And he's turned out to be really great for them. So, like you said, they got some weapons there. And I'm not going to lie. I really hope Houston wins this game. I'm going to root for them. That's who I'm going to go with. But I definitely, since it's the first game on Saturday, I know I'll be glued to my television for that one for sure.
You better believe it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the game to watch this weekend, I think, for sure. Like, that's the one everybody
Another little incentive for Houston here is, if you remember when they traded up for Will Anderson this year, they traded their own pick and kept the Browns pick.
They kept the Browns pick. There you go.
So if they can beat Cleveland, their draft pick gets earlier, and then they've pushed Arizona's pick later, which actually makes that trade even better for them getting Will Anderson. So,
well, there you go. Look at added motivation for this weekend. There you go.
Little extra piece
nice. There. No, for sure. Now, see, this is what I love. This playoff football is upon us. Everybody has their opinions. Everybody has their. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm waiting for. So I can't wait for this weekend, honestly, because I'm extremely excited to see what happens this weekend.